Hello, hello. What is up, everybody? And welcome back to the stream, guys. Appreciate you being here as always. Another three-game slate to break down tonight. You know, the playoffs have not been going well for me, but I'm excited to just get to a new slate. Hopefully tonight's my night. I can get things going. I haven't cashed in God, it feels like a week. The playoffs have not been treating me well. Seems like every night I'm playing some dude that sucks. Last night it was Davis Bertans. Played him. Played Embiid, who sucked. I mean, I don't know. The playoffs have been frustrating, but I'm excited to talk through the slate with you guys. And, as always, we're going to answer your questions and just kind of break down everything, over the next 30 minutes or so. But as always, guys, before we do get started, please hit that like button. Appreciate the likes as always. And, if you have questions about tonight's slate, just throw them in the chat and we'll start talking through everything. Greetings, everyone. Good thing about being on the bottom, nowhere to go but up. Let's try this again today. I feel you there, Robert. Feel you there, my man. I was at the bottom of the leaderboard yesterday, so we can only go up from here, I guess. I mean, my lineups, like these last 3 days, my lineups have just been getting worse and worse every day. My lineup on Tuesday had I think I scored 230, and then Wednesday I think I scored on Monday I scored 230. Tuesday I scored 220, and then last night, I mean, my lineup was so bad. I think I scored 205 or something. It was just terrible. Having trouble deciding between Crowder, Melo, and Cam Johnson for value play. I would definitely go with Crowder there, Derek. Crowder's a guy I've played so far in this series. I've played him both nights. He's been in foul trouble both nights. He's still played 29 minutes even in foul trouble. So I think Crowder probably plays 34, 35 minutes if he's not in foul trouble again. So he in terms of minutes, he's the guy that should play the most minutes out of those three, and he's definitely the one I prefer there. Eating Long John Silver's, oh my God, DD, my man, yikes! Who eats Long John Silver's? What the hell? That's about as bad as Captain D's. Can't trust people that eat it. Long John Silver's. Drummond tonight. I don't think I'm gonna go to Drummond just because there's too many other centers I prefer. I really like Ayton and I really like Nurkic. There's a good chance I play both those guys tonight, so I just don't think I can play Drummond. He got 24 minutes last game, but he played really well and he still only played 24 minutes. So you just have you have no idea how many minutes Drummond's actually going to get. He could play 20, he could play 24. I prefer guys like Nurkic, who I know, in a close game, no foul trouble. Nurkic is going to play 30 minutes. DeAndre Ayton's been playing close to 40 minutes. So I would just rather get to those guys, I think, over Drummond, me personally. Jimmy Buckets, third time's the charm. I like Jimmy again. The first game, he was actually not bad. He just had a terrible shooting game. Jimmy could have went off in game one. He could have put up 60 DraftKings points, but he just had a bad shooting game. And then game two was a total blowout. Jimmy was terrible. I like him again. I think 8,400 is still way too cheap for Jimmy Butler. I mean, he's going to play, if this game's close, Jimmy Butler's going to play 40 minutes. He's going to take a ton of shots. He's going to dominate the usage. Jimmy Butler him and Kawhi Leonard both have been underpriced these last few slates. Kawhi's been doing really well. Jimmy, on the other hand, not as much, but I still really like Jimmy Butler today. He burned me last slate, but I'm going right back to him, I think. You think we see the aggressive Jimmy tonight? I mean, you would think so. With him being down 0-2, they need to win this game. I mean, I'm not going out on a limb. If they lose tonight, I mean, the series is over. So, yeah, I really like Jimmy. It's hard not to like him at 8,400. He's just too cheap right now, in my opinion. He's a 1.2, 1.3 fantasy point per minute player, and he's going to play 40 minutes. So I'm going to the Blazers game tonight. Hey, that's awesome. Hope you have some fun, my man. Hope you have some fun. Sadly, I guess the Hawks made the playoffs, but there's no teams around me they're in the postseason outside of the Hawks. In Charlotte, they would have had a chance. I mean, I think Charlotte's the closest pro team to where I live, and they didn't even make it. I've never been to a pro basketball game, which is crazy to say. I'm 22 and I've never been to a pro basketball game. And I love basketball. Definitely got to go at some point. I was going to go last year, but obviously COVID, and everything. Yahoo lineup: Lillard, Booker, Morris, Butler, Crowder, Gordon, Ayton, Drummond. I mean, again, Taekwondo, like I said, Drummond I just have no idea how many minutes he plays. He could play 20, he could play 25. If you want to take a shot on him, he's fine, but I'm not that interested in Drummond. But the rest I think is fine. The rest looks good. Ayton or Nurkic, I'd probably go I'd probably go Nurkic there, but I really like both guys. I think both Ayton and Nurkic are underpriced today. Like Nurkic should be like 8K, Ayton should be like 7,200. Like both guys are $1,000 too cheap right now. Thoughts on Gordon and Porter? Michael Porter Jr. I think is still way too cheap on DraftKings. Aaron Gordon I think is fine. You know, he's not a guy that really I want to play. I mean, he just doesn't have much upside so far with Denver. Like he hasn't shown much fantasy upside. But MPJ I do like a lot. I think MPJ is still too cheap on DK. He was a guy that I didn't really play much when he was, when MPJ was like 8,500, close to 9K. Like I rarely played him. But now that he's 7,100, he looks like a really good option. I liked him a lot last slate. He burned me, but I'm fine going back to him. You like this as of now? Dragic, Holiday, MPJ, Crowder, Nurkic, Morris, Butler, Ayton. I'm assuming that's Monte Morris. So yeah, I like that. I think that's pretty solid for now. Dragic, Dante, or Hero? Give me Dragic there. Lopez or Payne? Brook Lopez for me. I'm not going to Cameron Payne. I know Cameron Payne had a good game last game, but I don't know how many minutes he plays. If Chris Paul plays like 35 minutes like he should, I just have no idea how many minutes Cameron Payne plays. Obviously, Chris Paul, didn't play much at all last game because of the injury. I'm assuming Paul plays his normal minutes. Who knows? But yeah, I think I'm going to be off Cameron Payne, especially with his price up. He just feels too expensive right now. I think Jimmy comes out ultra aggressive today. He should. I mean, he should. How do you see Millsap tonight for value? I don't have much interest in Millsap. He had a really good game last game, but he still only played like 14 minutes. Like, sure, Millsap could go out there and put up, 20 DraftKings points in 14 or 15 minutes, but can we expect Paul Millsap to average 2 fantasy points per minute? Obviously not. So, I mean, he's only going to play like 15 minutes. So you basically just got to hope that he crushes in 15 minutes. I'd rather play Monte Morris, who's most likely going to play 25 to 30 minutes, and Monte Morris is only, a couple $100 cheaper, or a couple $100 more. So, yeah, I don't have much interest in Millsap. He's just not going to play enough minutes, I don't think, to be viable. Campazzo or Morris, I mean, they're two different salaries. For cheaper, I'd probably rather play Monte Morris just for cheaper, but if you have the salary, I guess go Campazzo. Joining late, hello guys, let's get it tonight. What's up, my man? What's up, Mar? Appreciate you tuning in. You went to a Thunder game? Yeah, so we went to the Lakers game. They played the Hornets in Charlotte. This was, I think, for my 20th birthday. I'm 22 now, and we couldn't get tickets. Like, we were going to go, or I think my mom tried to buy tickets, but she waited too long, so we couldn't get tickets. But we'd already booked the hotel to Charlotte. So we went down there hoping we could find tickets, and we couldn't. So, I've never been to a pro NBA game, which is crazy. I'll be 72 Tuesday. I've never been to an NBA game either. Yeah, I mean, I've been to a pro football game. I've been to a college football game. I've been to a college basketball game, but I've never been to pro basketball. I've been to baseball games before. No love for Bam or just playing Butler. I mean, I think Bam's in play. He should be pretty low owned, I would assume, just given that he's struggled so much these last 2 games. For this, just straight up, I'd rather play Jimmy Butler. I just think Jimmy has more upside. But yeah, Bam's definitely viable. You could get big games from both Bam and Jimmy, and I wouldn't be surprised. But if you made me choose one, I would definitely prefer Jimmy. And the only reason I'm not as high on Bam is just because, we have Nurkic, who I like at center. We have Ayton, who I like at center. So, RotoWire reported that Paul might be limited and Payne might get extra minutes. I mean, I'll be honest, Jason, I don't follow RotoWire for news. So, you can take that for what it's worth, but I don't look too much into that. Low value plays just got in. I mean, value, it's always going to be tough on these playoff slates. The value's just hard to come by. The guys are going to be playing for value you're not going to feel good about. But for me, talking 5K and below, I'm looking, I guess Gordon Dragic we could throw in there at 5,100. So, Gordon Dragic, Brook Lopez, Jay Crowder, Robert Covington, KCP, Monte Morris, guys that I feel confident are going to get 25 to 30 minutes that are cheap, I'm fine going to. Now, Robert Covington, he's been terrible. He's played a ton of minutes, but he just hasn't been productive. It's still hard to find guys this cheap that are going to play 35, 36 minutes. And we know Robert Covington is going to get 35, 36 minutes. So, he's definitely someone I have interest in for value. Yes, it's just the minutes, I think. I'm looking for guys that are going to get the minutes. So, KCP, Robert Covington, Jay Crowder, Monte Morris should play 25 to 30 minutes. That's kind of where I'm looking to for value. Yeah, Roko's been terrible. I mean, he's been like during the regular season, he averaged like zero point 0.8 fantasy points per minute, and so far in the postseason, he's just been like, I mean, he's averaged like zero point 0.5 fantasy points per minute. He's been like PJ Tucker level. It's bad. Thoughts on Lillard, Forbes, Butler, Porter, Ayton, Dragic, Cam Johnson, Nurkic? I'm not on Forbes. Like I have no interest in Bryn Forbes. I'll let other people chase that. Like Bryn Forbes he couldn't miss last game. He came off the bench and literally made like every shot he took. So you can't expect that to happen again. Forbes is a fade for me. I'm not going to play him. Cam Johnson, I think, has really benefited with Jay Crowder in foul trouble these last few games. I think if Jay Crowder is not in foul trouble, Cam Johnson probably won't play as many minutes as he has been. So those are probably the two guys I'm not that interested in from that lineup, but the rest looks good. All right, Brendan. You like MPJ tonight? Yeah, we've already mentioned MPJ. I think he's too cheap on DraftKings. 7,100, too cheap for MPJ, in my opinion. Robinson, Nunn, Ariza, or Portis? I'd probably go with Duncan Robinson there. Either him or Ariza, probably one of those two. Think Harrell will play tonight? I honestly have no idea. So last game, or in game 1 of the series, Montrezl Harrell was like the backup center. And then game 2, they went with Marc Gasol, and Montrezl Harrell didn't even play last game. So I really have no idea. Does Montrezl Harrell get the backup center minutes? Possibly. Does Marc Gasol get the backup center minutes? I guess they could give them to him. Me personally, I think I'm just going to be avoiding that situation. I'm not playing Gasol. I'm not playing Harrell. I have no interest in either one, honestly. Something Noah thought I missed today. Let's get it. Hey, appreciate you being here, T-Money. Appreciate you tuning in, my man. Any Aaron Gordon love tonight? Got to roll Crowder again. He'll hit soon. Yeah, I like Crowder again. You know, like I said, I've played Crowder both nights, and last game he wasn't even that bad. He could have had a way better game if he, wasn't in foul trouble. He would have played more minutes than he did. I mean, Crowder's productive enough that, in the 33, 34 minutes he plays, he can give us 25, 26 DK points. Like, Crowder at least can rebound, can get defensive stats, can knock down threes. I like Jay Crowder. He's probably my favorite value. On a playoff slate like this, like, you don't really have any good value that you feel confident in, but I think Jay Crowder, when you talk about the guys like below 5K, he's probably one of my favorites. So, yeah, I do like Crowder. Aaron Gordon is okay, but I'd rather play like Crowder for cheaper. I think Crowder can easily outscore Aaron Gordon, and, he's almost $1,000 cheaper. DiVincenzo, Dragic, or Powell? I'd probably take Dragic there. If I play Covington tonight, he'll bust just like last slate. It's hard pass for me. Yeah, I played Covington last slate, so, I feel you there. Look, I have no confidence in Robert Covington, but he's cheap. He's going to play a ton of minutes. That's what makes him viable, I think. I mean, we could see Robert Covington could play 38 minutes again and score 15 fantasy points. So, but he's going to get the minutes, which is hard to find, for guys this low. Like and a lot of the guys that are also going to get minutes are, also not great permanent players, like KCP, Monte Morris. I mean, none of these guys are very good permanent players. Basically, you just got to hope, you get lucky and that they actually do something in the time they're on the floor. Only go to playoff games. NBA games are slow in real life. I mean, I guess that could be true. I mean, I've never been to an NBA game in general, so I don't know. But definitely, yeah, the playoff game atmosphere, I mean, it's just unreal. I mean, watching that Knicks game last night, I mean, the crowd just was so electric. That was awesome to watch. Forbes has a monster game and still only had like 24 FanDuel points. Very true. Very true. It felt, yeah, Forbes literally had a ceiling game last game, and he scored like 25 or 30. So, yeah, no interest in Forbes for me. Love the PJ Tucker drop. I mean, Robert Covington's been that bad. I mean, he's been like PJ Tucker-esque. I mean, so let's see. In game 1, he played 34 minutes, had 18 fantasy points. I mean, that's like 0.5 fantasy points per minute. And then game 2, 37 minutes, 12 fantasy points. That's even worse. So he's been bad. I mean, he had 2 blocks, 2 steals last game, and he still only scored 12 fantasy points. Like, that's just so bad. But 37 minutes, like, this is why you're playing Covington right here. Minutes, 34, 37. He's going to be on the floor. So you just got to hope that he actually does something when he's on the floor. Who's your favorite pay up, Giannis, Jokic? Between the two, I think I'd give the slight edge to Giannis just because there's a lot of centers I like today. We've already talked about Nurkic and Ayton, who I really like. Giannis, obviously, you can play a power forward. So between Giannis or Jokic, I'd rather have Giannis. My favorite pay up, though, is probably Jimmy Butler. Like, I still really like Jimmy Butler at his price tag. I think he's just underpriced right now. Do you play 20 and 150 max GPPs? Normally I don't. Normally I just play one lineup in single entry. It's not been going well lately. I think so. One of the reasons I went away from playing, like 20 lineups, I used to play like 20 lineups. I'd hand build 20 lineups, but I quit doing that just because it got crazy. With NBA and all the late news, it gets crazy having to manage all those lineups, late to lock. But now that we're in the playoffs, we don't really have to worry about late news and all these, scratches and all this other stuff. So I think the next coming days, I'm probably going to go back to playing like 20 lineups, just because I don't have to worry about the late news and stuff, and I can kind of set my lineups and forget them. That's one of the good things about the playoffs. You don't have to worry about all the stupid late scratches and stuff, just the random news that you don't expect. McCollum, MPJ, Nurkic, or Booker, Butler, and Dragic. Give me the second one there, Type 1. Give me the second one. Booker, Butler, and Dragic. $2 super chat from my man T Money. I appreciate you, T Money. He says, Noah, you the man. Thanks for your time. As always, my man. Sure thing. And thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. I've been to a lot of NBA games. It depends on the matchup, and plus, it's always fun. I mean, yeah, if I were to go to an NBA game, it would be either like a Hawks game or a Hornets game, because I live in South Carolina, so those are like the two closest teams. Like, I'm not going to fly to Los Angeles to go to a Lakers game. I'd love to, but, I mean, that's just a lot to go to an NBA game. So I would probably wait till, like, whenever the Lakers, like, play the Hawks in Atlanta, or when they play the Hornets in Charlotte. That's probably when I would go to a game. I think that's definitely going to be on my agenda next year, to go to an NBA game. I'll just have to wait for the right time. Can a well-balanced lineup work tonight? I mean, it could. Like, there's plenty of mid-range options I like. Like, you don't have to pay up for Giannis or Jokic. You can go to some of these, like Jimmy Butler for 8,400, MPJ for 7,100, Nurkic for 6,800, Ayton for 6,300. Like, you can build around these 6 to 8K guys and still make a very solid lineup. So, do you have to jam in the studs and then play these shitty values that you don't feel good about? I don't think you have to do that. No, I think maybe playing one or two of these values so you can get in one more extra stud probably makes sense. But I wouldn't go like full stars and scrubs. Like, there's just not enough good value that you feel good about to play like a stars and scrubs lineup. And if you look at like the winning lineups these last few days, a lot of the winning lineups have been like kind of balanced lineups, I would say. Nunn or Portis? I'd probably go Kendrick Nunn there between the two. Jokic or Giannis? I said it earlier, I prefer Giannis just given there's a lot of centers I like outside of Jokic. I really like Ayton. I really like Nurkic. So I think I'd go Giannis over Jokic. Is it okay if I play Morris and Rivers together? I mean, they're both cheap, so I don't think it's that bad, but I doubt you see both those guys on the floor. Like, if it's in the fourth quarter down to the wire, like, I don't think you're going to see Morris and Rivers both on the floor together. It's probably just going to be one of the two. So that's the one negative, but they're both cheap enough. You could get 25 minutes from Rivers, he scores 21 DK points. You get 30 minutes from Monte Morris, he scores 25 DK points, and they both be okay. So I'm fine with it just because they're both cheap. Dame and CJ in the same lineup, okay. For the night slate, yeah. For the night slate, that's fine. I mean, you only have 2 games to work with, so I think playing Dame... Shit, you could play Dame and CJ together on the main slate. I don't mind that at all. How come when do other super chats they get a big thank you when I get scolded? I'm just messing with you, Mark. You've already donated too much, man. You can't keep taking my money. You donate... It's okay to donate like a $2, $5 super chats, but you donate, like 50 and 100. You got to quit doing the big super chats. Those are just too much. Donating too much, my man. Go to the Hawks game 3, Noah. Live, my brother. I'd love to, but I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't even know if tickets like are sold out or what. I have no idea. Probably gonna have to wait till next season to go to a game. I doubt I would go to like a playoff game. I don't think it's the right time. Would you pick Bron or Dame for a stud? I mean, probably between the two, I'd probably go with Dame over Bron, I think. I mean, Dame's been so good these first 2 games. He's playing a ton of minutes. He's just taking a ton of shots. Last game, he got hot, and he just kept shooting. Like, that's always in the range of outcomes for Damian Lillard. Like, he could just go out there, just start knocking down threes, and he's just going to keep taking them. So, Dame's got a ton of upside. He's going to play a ton of minutes. I mean, LeBron and Dame could both have big games tonight, but I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably give the edge to Dame. I've been feeling down today on top of a losing streak. I'm sitting today out, probably tomorrow too, but I will be watching the videos and supporting like always. Good luck, Noah. Hey, I appreciate you, DD. Hey, man, it is totally okay to sit out a couple days. I've had to do that myself as well. Especially when you get in a losing streak, you start losing a lot. It's totally fine to take a couple days off. That's super important. We have a million slates to play over the next whatever years that DFS is legal. You ain't got to play every single slate. So it is totally okay to take some days off. When you say studs, are you referring to price or players with high usage? I'm referring to price. So the guys like 8K and above, I would say, or what I consider studs. Drew and Robinson or Middleton and none. Give me Drew and Duncan Robinson there. Dragic, Drew, Butler, MPJ, Nurkic, Monte Morris, Crowder, Ayton. Thoughts? I think that's a very solid lineup. I'm pretty sure that's my lineup right now, Christy. I mean, I haven't fully, set things in stone yet, but I'm pretty sure my dummy lineup, that's what I have right now. Thoughts on DiVincenzo? I mean, DiVincenzo's fine. He's going to play probably 25 to 30 minutes. He's not a very high upside guy. He's not going to get much usage in this offense, playing alongside Drew and Giannis and Middleton. I mean, DiVincenzo is one of those guys. He's probably going to play 30 minutes and score 20 DK points or 25 DK points. He's never someone I feel like I have to play, honestly. And, you could say that for basically all the guys in that price range, but I'd probably rather just play Monte Morris, who's cheaper, who could give you the same score that DiVincenzo does. Or even like Norman Powell. I mean, we know Norman Powell's going to play huge minutes, so I don't have that much interest in DiVincenzo. I think there's other guys I'd rather get to over him. I'm a huge Dame fan, but I think I'm going to fade him tonight. Nuggets started doubling him every time in the second half. They want to keep the ball out of his hands, just my thoughts. I mean, yeah, if you want to fade Dame, go ahead. There's plenty of other studs to play. I mean, you got plenty of other guys to go to. I didn't watch much of that game, so I can't really comment on that. But yeah, you would think, I mean, especially with how good of a shooter he is, once he starts getting hot, I mean, you gotta take the ball out of his hands. Like if Dame starts making threes, like you just can't let him keep taking them because he's just gonna keep making them. So it makes sense if they were, doubling him. Chrissy, how did you get my lineup? Yeah, I mean, we got the same lineups right now. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna have that lineup. I think it's gonna be duplicated, which probably means I'm probably gonna have to make some changes. Jesus Christ, my man Miami Mike, he's back. $50 super chat. Didn't even leave a message, but my man Miami Mike with a $50 super chat. Crazy Mike. I don't know what you're doing in here, man. Donated too much money already. I've already gotten a haircut and stuff. You can't keep giving me money. Used to give me money to get a haircut. Now that I got a haircut, you got to quit giving me money, man. But thank you, Miami Mike. You too kind, my man. Too kind. Appreciate the $50 super chat, as always. Too kind. Giannis, Lillard feel like must plays tonight. I mean, I wouldn't say they're must plays because there's just too many other studs to where Giannis or Lillard are must plays. I mean, there's so many guys that could outscore them. But yes, I mean, Lillard's been so good. Giannis has been so good. Both of them have been great through 2 games in their series. Giannis, Jimmy, Dame. If you ask him pick one of the 3 between Giannis, Jimmy, or Dame, I mean, if you have the salary, I would say play Giannis there, Brandon. But I mean, I like all 3 of those guys. I would say those are probably my 3 favorite studs right now: Giannis, Jimmy, and Dame. If I'm paying up for anyone, it's going to be one of those 3 guys. Oh, who do I fade between Giannis, Jimmy, and Dame? Well, yeah, that's a tough call then. Jimmy's probably my favorite when you do factor in price. I just think $8,400 is too cheap for Jimmy Butler. I don't care that he busted last game. I'm going to play him again. So between Giannis or Dame, I mean, it's all going to come down to your lineup. If you build out your lineup and you have Giannis in there and you really like your lineup, I think play Giannis. If you want to downgrade to Dame so you can upgrade somewhere else, I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. I feel like it's going to be a little bit tougher to play Giannis. Like, if you do jam in Giannis, then you're going to have to start playing some of these shitty value plays you don't really want to play. So maybe going down to Dame, save the salary, and then, upgrade somewhere else. That's probably what I would do. But, yeah, it's a coin flip. I would for sure say that Jimmy's my favorite, though, between the 3, Brandon. Been losing badly lately. Hope tonight will be the night. Hey, I feel you there. I don't think I've won in the playoffs so far. Like I've literally took like 6 straight L's. It's just been terrible. Seems like every night I'm playing the wrong stud or I'm playing the wrong value plays. I just can't. There's always somebody that screws me every night. It seems like at least that's been the way. It's been that way for like a week straight now. Would you play Dedman or Forbes as a cheap value? I mean, I don't have much interest in either one, Corey. Like Forbes, again, he got hot last game. He couldn't miss. Could he come out here and make enough or make like 5 or 6 threes again? He could, but I'd be willing to fade Forbes. Dedman, I think, benefited due to blowout. He also benefited I'm pretty sure. I think Bam might have gotten foul trouble last game. I can't remember honestly. Let me see. So Bam, okay, no, Bam wasn't in foul trouble last game. I mean, I know Dedman did play really well. They did play him alongside Bam a little bit. I guess if you force me to play one of those two, it'd probably be Dedman, but I really don't like either one, honestly. I think both guys could give you 10 DraftKings points. Like at the end of the night, I would not be surprised if Dedman plays 15 minutes and scores 10 fantasy points. If Forbes plays 16 minutes and scores 8 fantasy points, like that wouldn't be surprising. Neither one I have much confidence in. I'm not playing any stud tonight except for Butler and Bam. I mean, yeah, we kind of mentioned that, the mid-range build, not jamming in the studs, so that way you don't have to play those shitty value plays. I mean, that could be the way to go. There's a lot of mid-range guys I like that we've already touched on. Ayton, Nurkic, Jimmy, these 6K, 8K guys are really good plays. MPJ, you could definitely make a good lineup with a lot of those mid-range options. Bam ain't a stud, probably going to put up a 30-burger today. He's unreliable. I mean, so far through 2 games he has been, but you don't want to let game log dictate everything. At the end of the day, Bam Adebayo has still shown massive upside in the past. I know he's not been great through 2 games, but that doesn't mean he's going to be this bad, the rest of the series. So I still like Bam. It's just I think the only reason I'm not going to play Bam today is just because there's other centers I prefer for cheaper, to be honest, like Nurkic and Ayton. Thoughts on Porter Jr.? Yeah, we've already touched on MPJ. I really like him. 7,100, too cheap for MPJ, in my opinion. He's going to play 36 to 38 minutes, which is definitely enough time for him to pay off that salary. Can easily give you 40-plus DraftKings points in 36 or 38 minutes. Like any Lakers, I got Davis in my lineup tonight. I mean, I think Anthony Davis and LeBron are both in play. I still prefer some other guys over them if I'm paying up, but outside of LeBron and AD, I mean, the rest of the Lakers are just like dart throws. Like Drummond, I mean, who knows how many minutes he plays. Dennis Schroeder, I think, is fine, but I don't love him on the slate. KCP is going to play good minutes, but he sucks. So, yeah, I mean, the only 2 Lakers I have confidence in are LeBron and AD. And then I think Schroeder's fine. I think KCP is an okay option if you're trying to jam in an extra stud and you need to play a cheap guy. I think that's when you could look to like KCP. How you like Dame, Morris, Butler, Crowder, Ayton, Dragic, MPJ, and 5.1K left for utility? I mean, that looks pretty solid, Jay. If you have 5.1K left for utility, and you said you already have Dragic, you already have Crowder too, don't you? So I'd probably take like Brook Lopez there for that last spot. That looks pretty solid though for now. Value has been sucking get more balanced build. Looks like site has most serviceable value, 4,300 and up. I mean, that's very true. A lot of the value plays that I've been playing, me personally, have not been doing well. Like I played Robert Covington the other night. I played Davis Bertans last night. I played Danny Green last night, and they all sucked. So I totally feel you. Like the value has been bad, but we want these studs. That's the thing. It's like you want to play the studs, but then the value that you have to play to get these studs, it just seems like it always doesn't work. Like the value always screws you in the end. KCP used to be good, but he's been trashed for like 4 to 5 games. Yeah, he was actually pretty good for that stretch when LeBron and AD were both out. Like KCP was actually producing at a decent rate, but yeah. I mean, you see it like in the playoffs, the stars just take on an even heavier role, heavier usage rate, which these secondary guys, these corner 3 guys like Robert Covington, KCP, like these guys are so low usage players in the playoffs. I mean, they're already low usage players during the regular season, but in the playoffs it just goes down even more. because you're going to see the star players just have the ball in their hands even more during the postseason. Drew or Bam? I'd probably go with Drew there over Bam. Thoughts on Duncan today? I mean, look, Duncan Robinson going to play probably 28 to 30 minutes. All he does is shoot threes. He's a better version of Davis Bertans. You basically just got to hope that he knocks down his threes. So you can play him, but am I confident in Duncan Robinson? I'm never confident in Duncan Robinson. Lillard or LBJ on Yahoo? I'd rather have Lillard, I think, Robert. It's close, but I think I would rather have Lillard, just straight up. Cameron Payne worth a shot. Hard to tell if he gets minutes again. I don't think I'm going to go there. He benefited last game because Chris Paul, didn't play much at all in the second half. Chris Paul's not on the injury report. They've already said he's playing. I mean, we have no idea if Chris Paul's 100%. Chris Paul could go out there and play 20 minutes again, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm assuming Chris Paul's playing his full minutes, and if that's the case, that means Cameron Payne probably only plays like 20 minutes. So with his price up, with Paul playing, I have no interest in Cameron Payne. Nurkic or Ayton? I mean, I think both. For me, I like both a lot. If I had to choose one, I'd probably give the edge to Nurkic, but I think both are really good plays today. Both are underpriced on DraftKings. Cam Johnson or Kuz, last $200 to spare, and I can choose between the two. I mean, I don't really like either one, Jason. If I had to pick, I'd probably go with Cam Johnson. Campazzo and Rivers or Dragic and Connaughton? Give me Campazzo and Rivers there. Thoughts on campaign, even with CP3 playing? Yeah, I just mentioned that. Really no interest for me in campaign. I just think he's too expensive right now. And we just have no idea if he plays anywhere near the same amount of minutes that he played last game. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. We've been live for 30 minutes or so I do appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, I hope you did enjoy the stream. Hopefully, I was able to answer all your questions. We should be live once again tomorrow for Friday's slate. I think we have three games again on Friday, so we'll be back Friday afternoon with another stream. I'll see you guys then. Hope you guys have a good night tonight. Best of luck as always. If I don't take down a tournament tonight, hope one of you guys do. All right, good luck, fellas. Good luck tonight.